I remembered all that. Now we're going to mute everybody.
Yeah, good. All right.
Good, eh? Tyler, they met Tyler. And he's coming in. And I will. Tom, you're unmuted. So
yep, I am muted myself.
Okay. And we're ready to rock and roll. How are we doing this morning, Mr. Tom Nacu?
I am doing fantastic. Thanks for asking.
Excellent, excellent. Got a lot of really great questions for you today. For those on this call who know, or those who may not know, Tom Nacu has been pretty much with International Lifesavers since the very, very beginning. He was actually a late comer to the very first series of meetings. He came in the second day, I believe, Tom. Isn't that correct?
That is absolutely true.
So thank God, I'm glad you made it. And you didn't know anything about the first day until obviously that night, and then somebody invited you for the second day. So we got some great questions. Tom has consistently every single month done a great job and gotten better and better and bigger and bigger. I'm going to mute everybody again because there's something that somehow got unmuted, and then I'll unmute Tom. There we go. So we got some great questions for this morning. So I think that it's going to give everybody a great opportunity to learn a bunch of things and learn a little bit more about Tom. So we're going to get things rocking and rolling and get things started here, Mr. Tom. So start off with, what's your favorite committing question in a home?
You know what? I mean, I just love asking the customer at the end, can we welcome you to the safest families on earth? That's one of the greatest questions in the demo. I know that's more of a closing question, but it's probably my favorite question from the new OmniShield demo.
Absolutely awesome. Okay, that's great then. I love that. Okay, what's your favorite approach for getting home show leads?
You know what? We've really done some good stuff with home shows recently. Finding the right shows is key. We got into wedding shows this year. We got into a golf show this year. You know, just having a nice clean setup and display is important, and just really interacting with the people, not waiting for them to come up to you and start asking questions, but really kind of attacking the crowd and, you know, going after them.
Okay, so what's the line that you use when you want someone to fill out a ballot?
It's super easy. I just basically say, hey folks, how you doing? And I hold out the EPK. Listen, we're raffling off 75 of these emergency kits. They're super awesome. All we're asking you to do is a 3-question fire safety survey, and you're in the draw for free. Grand prize is dinner for 2 at the keg. And I hand them the ballot and the pen.
Fantastic. Simple as that, is it?
Easy peasy.
Okay.
I did it with Darren and Deanna. And they were laughing because I was just grabbing people as they were walking by, and we had some fun.
Absolutely, I love it. I love it. Okay, what's your favorite prize you like to put up for home shows?
Dinner for 2 at the keg. I mean, it's pretty standard. We've done dinner for 2 at the keg at virtually every trade show we've ever done. The baby shows, we switched it up to a $100 gift card for Babies R Us, and at the golf show we did a $100 gift card for Golf Town.
Fantastic. How did the golf show work out for you?
It was great. It was great. The people that came through there were super high quality people. You know, golf's not a cheap sport, so it does tend to draw a bit of a, you know, higher caliber clientele. So yeah, we sold a bunch of those leads. It was
fantastic.
A good show.
Great to hear it. And who would have thought of doing a golf show, you know? I mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, you.
Yeah, I realize that.
You kept saying, do boat shows, do car shows, do golf shows, do horse trade shows, do whatever. Just get in front of people.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Okay. Why is it so important for safety advisors to participate in shows, in home shows, in golf shows, and in these shows to get leads?
I mean, I think it's critical. First of all, they just get a chance to see so many people and hear so many great stories, because when you're at a home show promoting fire safety, people who've had fires, you know, they naturally sort of gravitate to your booth. So they just get to hear a lot of good stories. They get to meet a lot of the people that they're going to be doing demos for next week. So it's automatically a warmer lead when they get to those people, you know, 3, 4, 5 days later, whatever the case may be. A lot of times, if they've got a chance, if it's not too busy and they've had a chance to really engage with the customer and the customer seems particularly interested, they'll write their name down on the top of the ballot. And those leads generally close at 50 to 75%. So it's definitely every safety advisor should go and work a home show. Period.
Fantastic. And I agree with you 100%. It's so critical. And you know, as you said, those leads become warmer leads, and you create a little bit of relationship with the customer just talking to them.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
what advice would you give safety advisors to put in their mind when they're approaching a door to do a demo? You're pulled up in front of the house, you're looking at the house, you're getting out of the car. What type of mindset, what advice would you give them?
So Jeff Walters was my distributor for years when I was the sales rep. And he always taught us, if you don't want to buy anything, you better not answer the door. You know, just having a confident attitude, you know, that these people are going to let me in. You know, I'm charming, they're going to like me. You know, and I've got a great product. Everybody needs it, and they're going to buy.
Fantastic. Absolutely. And I love that line. If you don't want to buy anything, you better not answer the door. I'll tell you, we are getting some great lines from you with the Taylor yesterday, from April, the 3 Ps. I love it. This is a loaded question. I'm sure you can probably guess who it came from. Who's the best sales manager you've ever had?
Well, if that didn't come from Derek, yeah, I'd be shocked. You know what? I've had a lot of great sales managers over the years. Derek's definitely an excellent sales manager. And what I found is that sometimes it's not always the best sales people that end up making the best sales managers. Because some of the sales managers I've had over the years weren't my best salespeople, but they were really good at managing people. So definitely Derek.
When did you start in direct sales?
I ran my first demo September 20th, 1993.
Wow. There might even be some people on this call who weren't even born in 1993.
Yeah, when I think of it, almost 27 years, it feels weird when I say it out loud, actually.
Okay. Do you remember the ad you came in on? Did you apply to an ad? Was that what it is? How were you recruited?
Yeah. No, I'm old enough that we actually had to apply for jobs by looking through the classified ads in a real physical newspaper. So the ad actually said, I'm trying to remember. Now hiring, customer service, setup and display, management trainees, $1,600 a month. No experience necessary, must have own vehicle. And at the time, I had just turned 20. I had no experience. I had a piece of shit car. I met all the parameters, so I applied and I got the job.
And you're still here 27 years later. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Okay. What was your very first month in direct sales like?
That's got to be from Derek or Lisa, somebody who's known me for a long time. You know what? I would have sugarcoated this a few days ago if I had done this call. After listening to Sue Jenna, you know, #1 safety advisor in the world, her first month, you know, Bill selling 3 his first weekend. Tom Spears was so good, they promoted him to a manager in 30 days. My start was shit.
Impossible. How's that possible?
No, it really was. I mean, when Taylor said that she didn't sell for her first, I think she said 30 days yesterday, I was like, okay, well, I guess I can tell everybody. I did 40 DNSs in a row.
How many?
40.
40.
40.
Wow.
So it was unbelievably negative at the time. I did 40 demos in 11 days. We used to work 7 days a week when I first started. I sold my 41st demo.
Wow.
And the manager got on the phone and actually phone closed the deal for me.
What kept you going?
You know what? Persistence overcomes resistance, right? And although I got a lot, you've probably all heard the term SNIOP, subjected to the negative influence of other people. Well, I was getting that left, right, and center. You know, my roommates were all like, what are you doing this for? What a waste of time. You're not even getting paid. You know, a couple of friends, my mom, my dad. One of my motivations, I guess, was proving to my dad that I could do it, because he didn't think I could. And I guess I wanted to show him that I could. So
I guess you did.
it was a fun work environment too. I didn't want to leave. I mean, even though I wasn't making any money, there was lots of hot telemarketers. I was 20 years old. There's lots of guys going out to the bar after work and partying. You know, it was just a fun work environment. So I had to figure out how to make it work.
Sounds like a fraternity. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so when you came in and took a look at the OmniShield opportunity and you're kicking the tires, what was the one thing that you would think of that actually pushed you over to decide, hey, listen, I want to take this product line on?
It's an interesting story, actually. A guy named John, you know John LeBlanc, Carmen. Him and I actually had a falling out 6-7 years ago over a business disagreement. And so one piece of advice I'll give everybody is don't burn your bridges. You know, because I could have very easily said, you know, screw you, John, when he invited me to breakfast that day. But I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't, because he sat me down at breakfast and said, you know, there's some things coming up, and there was some business legislation that was changing in Ontario in early 2018 that was pretty negative. So he said, I've got a new opportunity. I want you to come check it out. It's a company out of Texas. They sell smoke alarms. And I'm thinking to myself, Johnny, come on. Are we going to make any money selling smoke alarms? They're $20 at Walmart. Every house has a bunch of them already. So he said, listen, there's a couple of guys coming in. They're doing an information seminar. It's 2 days. It's in Toronto. Just come and check it out. As you already mentioned, I didn't even bother going the first day. I made an excuse. I told John I was too busy. I couldn't come. So at the end of day one, he called me and he was super excited. And he said, Tom, I'm going to send you a video link, a YouTube link. Just go and watch my old friend do a presentation and see what you think of the demo. And that demo, of course, ended up being the one and only Carmen Glenn. So I was pretty excited. I thought, you know what, that's an awesome demo. Maybe I need to give this a closer look. So I called John back and, you know, he brought A2. And my first thought was, okay, well, there's a few people here. Bruce and Darren were there. Tom Spears was there. Carmen obviously was there, who I recognized only from the video. I had never met you before. And my very first thought was, I thought this was an information session. Why is this guy yelling at us so loud? And I've come to realize that's just how Carmen talks. He yells, you know, but it was motivational. It was a great meeting. David Carter probably is what really, you know, got me that day, because he picked me to do the demo for. So he actually did an A to Z demo on me. I don't know why he picked me, maybe because I was the new guy and I had just shown up, but it just blew me out of the water. You know, I mean, how he hit so many different hot buttons and how he personalized that presentation, it felt like he'd known me for years. You know, using my, you know, kids' names and talking about my dog and, you know, just the different questions. I could actually feel my heartbeat accelerating as he was asking me questions like, what would happen if a fire started in Maddox's bedroom in the middle of the night? You know, how would you find out about it? And I'm thinking, I don't know. Like, I obviously need to do something. So, you know, I figured right then and there, I was pretty much on board. And then when they started talking about the marketing, that really got me. You know, the marketing programs in some of the old companies I've worked in were just drop more flyers, drop more flyers, drop more flyers, drop more flyers. You know, that was their answer to everything. And, you know, when they went through the marketing program, I was boom, done. And so that night I called Derek, I prepped him, you know, we're doing this. And I put a package together. I put a presentation together, I should say. And I flipped my entire crew the following week.
Fantastic. That's a great story, brother. That's a great story. What is your plan? Your first day back?
Oh, probably training. We're probably going to have to spend at least half a day, maybe the first full day retraining. You know, it's just like when you shut down for 2 weeks at Christmas, nobody is as sharp, you know, when on the first day back. You know, nobody's going to be razor sharp their first day back after this. So we'll probably spend the first day training and, I'd like to think that leads are going to be super easy to get our first day back, but the reality is they may not be for a while. So I'm going to get all of our safety advisors to really focus on putting together their warm market list.
Fantastic.
And working that.
Awesome. In your experience, what type of lead has the highest closing percentage?
A trade show lead where the rep wrote their name on the ballot. Those are really high closing leads, because they wouldn't write their name on the ballot if they didn't think they had a realistic shot at selling these people.
Yeah.
And overall, though, I would say probably door knocked leads in areas that have recently had a home fire somewhere close by. The awareness level is just through the roof. I know Mike in one townhouse subdivision that had a fire around the corner from our office. I think he closed about 70% of the ballots or the door knock leads that we got in that one townhouse complex. So.
Fantastic. Now you've knocked a lot of doors and received a lot of leads from that. What is a tip that you can give people to have a high hold-up rate when they're going to the door?
Really our goal is not to knock our way directly into the house. We're not walking around with our sensor kit and our demo kit. Really the goal with door knocking for us is just to pique their interest. We show them the EPK. We get a little bit of, warm up with them. Did you hear that your neighbors just had a fire last week? Super scary. I mean, that's one of the reasons we're in your neighborhood. We're just trying to raise fire safety awareness for homeowners in the area because of that. And, have you got 45 minutes where we could come in and chat with you? Either later today, tonight, or tomorrow, what would work best for you? And, take their name and phone number. And as long as we can get the name and phone number, we've got a pretty warm lead. If we can book a set time right there at the door, we will. Some people aren't really willing to commit. Maybe they're, home alone, want to talk to their wife or whatever. Again, as long as we can get the name and number, that's the number one goal for us. And then we'll call them back and we'll pitch them on the phone, and we'll probably book about half of them, maybe a bit more. And the closing percentage on those would be quite high. I'd say 50% plus.
Another lead program. Absolutely love it. What are some of your hobbies and interests?
Golf, absolutely. I could play golf 5 times a week, no problem. Downhill skiing. Physical fitness, although I've kind of dropped the ball on that the last 4 or 5 months. But yeah, golf and downhill skiing are probably my 2 favorite hobbies.
Sweet. What's your lowest ground of golf you've ever shot?
86. And that was years ago.
Was that an honest 86?
That was an honest 86. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. Okay. Bill would like to know, how do you balance a fun work environment with a productive work environment?
You know what? We do all kinds of little fun things. I mean, at the beginning of every sales meeting, which Derek normally runs, we do like a sales chant just to get everybody going. We've kind of got a work hard, play hard attitude. I guess like a lot of offices would. We've got like a drum kit and a music station set up in our sales room. There's an air hockey table. We'll put up little contests where we pop balloons. And so we do a lot of fun little things. We'll do like bowling nights out, or, dinner out with the crew to celebrate achievements. But when we go to work, we go to work, And Derek's a bit of a hardliner when it comes to that. So it's good to have a guy like him around, because he's also a fun guy when it's time to have fun. So
Absolutely. Sue would like to know, how do you feel whenever you hear a fire close to your area when someone's lost their life?
Ooh, well, obviously horrible. We've been pretty lucky in the Niagara region recently. I don't think we've had a fatal house fire in the Niagara region in maybe a year. But I feel bad whenever anybody has a fire, even if there's significant damage done. I mean, just in Grimsby, there's been 4 or 5 house fires in the last year in the little town that I live in. It's only 25,000. And I think to myself, we got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Sue would also like to know, which aspect of this business do you think you need to improve on the most, and what aspect do you feel you're really good at?
That's a great question. I probably need to work on delegating a little bit more, because I hear that word, thrown around a lot. Delegate, delegate, delegate. And I'm a bit of a micromanager. I can also be a master procrastinator. So I definitely could improve in those two areas. Areas that I'm good at, I think I'm organized. I think I'm pretty easy to work for. I mean, other than the brand new recruits that we've just hired in the last month or so, the average time that most of the people who work for me have been there is 8 or 9 years. So, I'm trustworthy, I'm honest, I'm organized, and, I think I'm a good business runner.
Fantastic. Love it. Absolutely love it. What is your most memorable demo that you've ever done? Do you have any to stick out?
Well, I can tell you my most memorable demo day, because it was the first time I ever tripled in a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, doubling in a day is an achievement, obviously, but it was something that lots of people did lots of times. Tripling in a day was quite a bit harder, and I've never quadrupled in a day. But the first time I ever tripled was a Monday, and I got a retired widow with a filter queen for my first demo, one of my favorite demos ever. I got a retired widow with an Electrolux for my second demo, sold. And when you're on a roll like that, watch out. Because the third person, I mean, it didn't matter what they gave me, it would have been a sale, I think. But the third demo they gave me was probably my absolute favorite customer ever. It was a truck driver and a housewife with a Kirby. And that was sold. Instantaneously, I knew that was going to be a sale. So the first time I ever tripled was probably my most memorable sales day.
Absolutely. There's no question. The car was running on empty and just running smooth as, no problem whatsoever. Yeah, it surprised me how often salespeople will sell and then think that they've accomplished everything and not go on another demo. And there's not an easier time to sell than when you're on a roll.
Oh,
you just know no matter what you give me, that next person, if they answer the door, they're buying something. How important is it for safety advisors to attend sales meetings, in your opinion?
Well, I mean, it's critical. If you're not attending sales meetings, you're not dialed in. You're not dialed in with your crew. You're not dialed in with the programs. You're missing out on virtually everything. There's every day we're going to try and give them a little something extra, teach them something new, even if it's something small, something that improves them to a degree. We're going to try and motivate them. We're going to update them on contest standings, where they're at. So, I mean, attending sales meetings for our office is mandatory, and I think it's just critically important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What was your impression of GHS when you went to the World Convention last year?
Unbelievable. I don't know if this is one of the questions on the list, but I know you asked somebody earlier in one of the interviews, what was one of your biggest regrets? And honestly, one of my biggest regrets in my 2 years with OmniShield so far was not going to the first meeting, the first world meeting that I had the opportunity to go to. We had just gotten started. We really had only been in the business about 2.5 months, and I just decided that we weren't going to go. And when I went to the 2019 meeting, I immediately realized, we may have lost an entire year of momentum. The meeting was amazing. I'll tell you one quick story about the world meeting. Besides all the obvious things, like the speakers are great, the training seminars are great. When you're talking with people at the bar afterwards, you're picking up little nuggets from everybody. But for me personally, at the 2019 world meeting, it was the Saturday night after everything was done, and now it was drinking time. And David Carter walked up to me and he said, "Tom." And I said, "Yeah, David." He says, "I've been watching you." He said, "I've been watching your team. I've been watching your momentum. And I'm telling you, you're going to be a top 10 dealer in the world by next year's world meeting." I said, "Come on, David." At the time, I was maybe in not even the top 25 dealerships in the world. I said, "There's so many dealers out there better than me." He says, "Name 10. And I named Brett Granger and April Lane and Tom Spears and Jason Wolbers and, 4 or 5 names. He says, Tom, that's 5 names. You could be in the top 6 based on what you just told me. And he put his hand on my shoulder and he pulled me in close and he looked me right in the eyes and he said, I believe in you. And there's so much power in just those 4 words. That was kind of a bit of a TSN turning point for me, because when somebody like David Carter tells you they believe in you, you start to believe a little bit more in yourself. Maybe he sees something in me that I don't see in myself. And, we really started turning it on after last year's, after the June meeting in 2019.
Absolutely. And that's such a true story. And people can make such a big impression and such a big difference. And David definitely is larger than life. There's no doubt about that.
No kidding.
What do you like most about the OmniShield opportunity?
Well, the override program's pretty awesome. I always tell people there's three things I like about the company, kind of like April, 3 Ps. The products are amazing, obviously, state of the art and getting better. The programs are amazing. I mean, again, when I look at the marketing programs and the online training and, the programs are just second to none. But the third P is the people, the leaders in our organization, people like you, David Carter, Chris Roberts, Gary Robinson, so many other dealers. They're just willing to help. They're willing to move mountains for you, So probably the people are the number one thing that I like about Global.
That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Now, in the past 6 months, I mean, you've been there since the very beginning, but in the past 6 months, your office has really gone from being an average, top 25, top 30 office to really being one of the top producers in the organization, as well as being in the top 2 or 3 in International Lifesavers. What do you feel changed?
I don't know that there was any one particular, bing, light bulb. Obviously bringing our people to the world meeting for sure got me, Mike Taylor, and Derek going. So that was one of the turning points, like I just mentioned. A few other things that we started doing, though. I was doing the training, the OmniShield training, and it was just after the world meeting, I think, that I said, Derek, you should start doing the trainings. And I'm a big enough man to admit that he's a far better trainer than I am. So that was a big plus. He started training and started really working, very hard, trying to, especially as we got closer to the belt competition, he really started working. One of the big keys, I think, was shortly after the world meeting in 2019, I got rid of my last water guy. And I really went all in with OmniShield, because before that, I had still been clinging a little bit to my old business. And when your focus is split, you're never going to be as sharp in either area as when your focus is pointed like a laser. I think one of the other big things, Mike Wynn never mentioned this when you interviewed him, but when he had Emily, his why, his purpose became very, very sharp and focused. And he went from being an average sales guy to being a dynamic sales guy. So that was a big addition to our team as well. Him really, really picking up the volume. And Taylor Jaranowski really, he was still doing a little bit of fire, a little bit of water, a little bit of fire, a little bit of water. We finally just said, you know what, Taylor, we gotta go all in. And we moved him completely out of water as well, and completely into OmniShield. And when we went all in, our numbers just started, skyrocketing steadily. January, we had a record month. February, we hit, I believe, a new record. And in the first 2 weeks of March, I had 416 units purchased. Obviously, I was overbuying, planning on, having a great month. And the hammer came down. But yeah, we really have got the momentum going over the last 3, 4, 5 months.
Fantastic. Absolutely awesome. So what are your goals for 2020?
In all honesty, it's the same goal I had in 2019 since I didn't hit it. At January 1st, 2019, my goal was to have 2,000 hard units in the year. We didn't hit it. I don't even remember exactly what our hard unit number was in 2019, but that's my goal again for 2020, is to have 2,000 hard units sold and installed. And then from a growth point of view, my goal is to have obviously Mike Wynn opened up and rocking this year, and to have one additional recruited office from a couple of people that I've been working on over the last 6 months that have existing businesses in other industries.
Fantastic. If you can go back to when you first started in direct sales and give yourself some advice, what would it be?
I guess always keep learning. There was lots of entire years, I would say, that went by where I didn't read a motivational book, didn't really do anything to self-improve. One of the things I really appreciate about Global is how they encourage people to constantly be learning, to constantly be self-improving. So I think if I could have gone back and told myself anything, it would be, just like David Carter says, you're either green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. So, you got to always be learning. And that would be the number one piece of advice I think I would give myself.
Fantastic. Now, we have a lot of dealers on here, and a lot of them are new dealers, and a lot of people on here are going to become dealers very shortly. Not sure what I think. How important is administration, a good administration, to a successful dealership?
Yeah, I mean, I've always focused quite a bit on that because, being organized administratively, it's super important. It causes a lot less headaches if you have issues down the road with anything, being administratively organized. You don't make little mistakes like, you don't want to screw up people's paychecks because you forgot to input, your sales properly in your sales journal. I mean, administration is just one of the key aspects of being a competent business owner. Right. It's that simple.
Absolutely. What have you been doing with your two boys to keep yourself from going nuts over this period?
Yeah, it's been interesting. We've been watching a lot of movies, Netflix, that sort of thing. I've been cooking. I actually lost 4 pounds since I've been off, because I've been eating all my meals at home. I haven't had fast food in 3 weeks, whereas I used to eat fast food 3-4 times a week. No question. So we've been cooking a lot together. We've been going out and trying to get some exercise, just going for a couple of kilometer walk once or twice a day with the kids and the dog. Just stuff like that, probably just like everybody's doing.
Fantastic. Now, you've been with the International Lifesavers since the very beginning. What have you seen change within the region?
Well, the growth has been phenomenal, first of all. I mean, I look at offices like April Lane and, how she's promoted, what has she got now? Three organic dealers out there, or going to be 3 soon. I mean, it's just our division, our region's blowing up. It's that simple. I think we might have been number 1 last year. I don't know what the final numbers are going to shake out to with things that happened at the end of March. But I think our region is definitely 100% going to be number 1 next year. If we just missed them this year, we'll definitely be number 1 next year. 100%.
What business or motivational book do you enjoy the most?
How to Win Friends and Influence People is a classic. I really enjoyed that book. The Spencer Johnson book, Who Moved My Cheese, is a good one. It's a super easy read. It's pretty fitting for the times that we're in right now, just on changing perspective and finding new ways of doing things. I watch a lot of YouTube, motivational videos too. I mean, I used to be a much more avid book reader, and sorry to say I'm not as much anymore. But 2 YouTube videos that I would highly recommend are, they're quick 5-6 minute videos, 10-minute videos. Arnold Schwarzenegger's 6 Rules of Success and Admiral McRaven's Start by Making Your Bed. Simple, easy, motivational, powerful message. I'd recommend those 2.
Yeah, I love that Admiral one. Just gets me every time I watch it.
Yeah.
What is your favorite movie?
I don't really have a favorite movie.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, I just watched Forrest Gump again with Maddox the other day. That's a pretty awesome movie.
Yeah, you could watch that movie. You could watch it from the beginning. You can get into the middle and start watching it. Just you don't miss anything.
That's a really, really good movie.
Okay, you went to April's office. What did you notice, and what impressed you the most when you went to April's office?
I mean, her wall of fame is awesome. I love that, where she's got all the certificates and the different levels that her reps have achieved in that big triangle on the wall. That was really, really awesome. I like her office, actually. It was a well laid out direct sales office, but probably her wall of fame was one of my favorite things. You got to recognize your people, and that's a great way of doing it.
Sweet. How excited are you getting back to work?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm chomping at the bit. I want to get out there tomorrow, but sadly that's not going to happen. But no, definitely excited to get out there. I think some things are going to change, but we're going to grow and we're going to get through it.
Fantastic. It's funny. I was talking to Darren yesterday, and he was just saying, my whole goal was always to retire. He goes, after this break, I now realize I never want to retire. Doing nothing is boring. So I think we're all just dying and chomping at the bits and excited about it. Well, Tom, I want to thank you today. You've been absolutely awesome. Some great stories and some great advice there. I'm finally going to finish it off with you giving what final advice or what final things would you like to say to the team that we have on here today?
You know what? Just always stay positive. Regardless of what's going on in your life, you gotta be positive. I know everybody is probably under a lot of pressure right now, and if this goes on much longer, some of that pressure is gonna mount. You got to consider two things. Pressure can burst a pipe, but pressure also creates diamonds. So you can go one way or you can go the other, and I hope we all come out of this diamonds ready to run.
That's awesome, man. I really appreciate that. I'm not sure if there's anybody on here who would like to ask Tom a question. If you can, you can unmute yourself. If not, then we're going to finish this day off. I want to thank you very much for being part of this. It's absolutely awesome, Tom, and really getting a chance to know you a little bit better. And I think a lot of people got a lot of good stuff about it.
Pleasure.
Yes, April.
Hey, Tom. I just want to tell you that this is probably one of my favorite interviews.
Really?
I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't put any questions in, I forgot. But this has been one of my favorite interviews, and I definitely want to come up to you guys' sales meeting. I understand why Michael Wynn is so positive, and man, this is just, this was like awesome.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Coming from you, I would really appreciate it, because I honestly, when I was thinking about this, I'm like, man, I'm like the 15th or 16th interview. What the heck am I going to have to add that hasn't already been said by everybody? But no, I really appreciate it. Thanks, April.
Remember, sometimes if you hear it from another voice, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, like when you get a triple in a day, that's exciting, right? And
it is.
I mean, that's awesome, and great job, and you got a great team, and Carmen,
that's awesome.
And Carmen, can we do a shout out to Katrina Stratton, one of our top safety advisors, because we have Easter this weekend, right? So happy Easter to everybody! But on Easter Sunday, it is actually Katrina's birthday.
Oh wow!
Yay!
Well, happy birthday, Katrina. That's absolutely amazing. So she's going to be what, 26, 27?
25.
25. Wow, listen, 25 was a great year. It was just like 3 years ago for me, but it was a great year. We're going to finish this call off and get things rocking and rolling. Today's prize is this book here, which I absolutely love. It's called Big Bucks. It's Guidelines to Becoming a Millionaire. Absolutely awesome. So the questions are going to be simple. There's 3 questions. The first question is, okay, from Jeff's interview, how do you keep your safety advisors motivated? The answer from Jeff's interview, how do you keep your safety advisors motivated? That's number 1. Number 2, from April's interview, what part of the demo is the most important to you, April? What part of the demo is the most important to April? And number 3, which David Carter marketing video did David Carter book a demo with Chase and Noel? And what time did he book the demo for? Which marketing video by David Carter did David Carter book a demo with Chase and Noel? And what time did he book the demo for? Let's have a fantastic day. Thank everybody for being here. We're going to see you, talk to everybody again on Monday. Let's get those answers in. Thanks, folks.